I actually screwed up my ankle. It's pretty wild. A couple weeks back, I went and was on a whitewater rafting trip, just like a couple hours out of town, and it's going well. Halfway through the whitewater rafting trip, you're gonna stop at this place, and then you're gonna do this cliff jump, etc., and then you're gonna finish the trip. It's like a full jaunty is what they call it. It's something like, I don't know, it's like 4 to 6 hours, probably for like 4 or 5 hours. And on the beginning of the trip was good. Like, they have all the gear for you. They have the wetsuit, they have the wet boots and everything, and you get to get all dressed up, and then you have to lift your boat, and it's huge, it's massive, it carries like 8 people, and it's like this thing can like rub against rocks and it's fine in the water. But anyways, we get going on some rafts. It's like a chill moment, and then it's like a little bit rapid, like, etc. And then we get to the halfway point, right? And I go and do this cliff jump. It's like 15 feet high, I'd say. Not super big, but there's these 2 rocks that you kind of don't jump on, but you swim past, that are close to the edge because you don't want to get caught by the current. So that's kind of freaky, right? But then you can't really see too much of in the water, right? So you're not very high, but then the water's not that deep. So I end up jumping off this cliff, and I graze the side of this rock. Like, my arms like this, like feet first, right? Safety first, feet first. And I jump like this, and I graze a rock on my right side. And I'm like, holy crap, that was close, right? But it was a lot of fun, right? Water wasn't even cold, comparatively speaking, because I was in the wetsuit. But afterwards, I'm like, should I go for a second time? Should I go for a second jump? And so I did, right? Although I was a little nervous, a little apprehensive about it, considering what happened the first time. And I go on this jump, but then the second jump, I jump after asking the guy who's had like 26 years of experience. He should know what he's doing, what he's talking about, everything. Really funny, nice guy. But I said, hey, I almost grazed a rock on my right side. Like, do you think I should jump a little bit more to the left? And he's like, no. I think what happened is you were by this rock over here, and he points kind of towards the left, and you should jump a little to your right. So I'm like, okay. I listen to him, and I jump, and I land my right foot in the center directly on the rock that I grazed the first time. And it hurt like a mother. It was so painful. And I couldn't walk put any weight on my right foot at that time. Like, obviously, it makes sense, right? Like, I'm a big guy, half my body, my full body weight on a single leg, from a 15-foot drop on like a pointy rock. It just completely destroyed me, and I was just like, oh my god, like, I was like a little like I felt like frustrated, and then I was also like in pain, and like a lot of the frustration was like, oh man, I didn't trust my gut. Like, I listened to this guy because I was like, oh, he's got all this experience, etc. He's been down this series of rapids multiple times. He's got to know what he's talking about, right? And I didn't trust my gut, and that happened. And I'm still recovering from it right now. But anyways, like, moral of the story is basically you got to trust your gut. If your gut's telling you something, somehow, some way, it just knows better than any other, I don't know, I feel like any other source of information. But I mean, hey, what happens happens. I guess I had the experience of it, but man, it hurt, and it was bruised. Like, it was just crazy how bruised it was and swollen. And I went to the doctor, and I think it's gonna be like 3 to 4 weeks of recovery. I'm at like first solid week, actually, just a week of recovery. But moderate severe sprains, I guess, are 3 to 4 weeks. Luckily, I didn't break anything. So that was like the really lucky takeaway from the story. But pretty wild stuff, man. Yeah, man, you got to trust your inner knowledge, and yeah, your tum-tum, it knows more than your brain does. I don't know how that works, but it does. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. So that's my wild story. I took a month off of work, and the first weekend, which is like literally the first 3 days of this month, you know, to recoup after like a couple years on the sim project, a lot of just, you know, burnout. And then this happens to my foot. So yeah, it was, you know, but hey, I have a story to tell, and yeah, I mean, hopefully people can learn from it. And I don't know if anybody here has gone whitewater rafting or done anything like that, but hey, at least you have a sense of like, it wasn't even the rafting part, right? It's the cliff jumping part, right? So that's really, it's like a whitewater rafting story, but not really. It's a cliff jumping story. But yeah. Wild stuff. Wild stuff.